Yep, all good, thanks.
So the first one is in-transit quantity for pack component items. So do we have this data captured anywhere in the tables for buy, pack, and composite?
So if this is this from in the context of a transfer order, an open transfer order, isn't it?
This in context of that, but yeah, this will go in stock on hand files.
So on our transfers, we have like the order lens that we sent you. Underneath that, we actually have an ORD-LG, which is all the components that are in a buy pack. So one of those order lines can have many components, and we do have a level of data below that that stores that information.
Okay, so at the moment we are getting, just a second. We are getting two files from you. I mean, two types of files. One is this 3 different brands that captures all the main stuff, and in this one, in prod one, we are getting unit cost, I think. So I was thinking if we can get all of these quantities into the 3 branch location files that you're sending.
Yeah, that's going to really slow down our stock on hand. These are all really going to be got from the open transfers. So when we're extracting the open transfers, we could extract some more information. When there's a transfer in Oracle for a buy pack, does it have a layer for the components underneath? Or is it just maintaining these values as it's?
So in TUI, for buy packs, we are storing quantities at parent item, right? And then
Yes.
when it explodes, then that quantity gets divided into the component level.
Yes. And
okay. So when you will be doing the extract, these quantities will be held at parent level.
We've got them both at parent level and at component level within the transfer, which, and I guess the total of the sorry, I've just lost my mouse. The total of the in transit is obtained from these same details. We don't store an in transit in our stock on hand, goods in transit. We calculate it by looking at the open orders, open transfers to get the goods in transit.
Okay. So Sanjay or Brenda, if you guys are online.
Yep.
In Oracle Retail, do we know if how item master is displayed for these complex and buy pack items?
Currently, we have put everything in as not a complex item. Everything is at a SKU level, SKU or barcode level.
Individual SKU level, okay.
Yeah, but it can be updated as and when we need them. For example, the components of these packed items, we will have to update it with the pack as yes.
But they can be also standalone items on their own right. They're not just.
Yep, it can be sold on its own. So it's a pack item. It's part of a pack item in order to have the hierarchy of parent and child, and then under sellable, you put yes on its own. But if it is a composite or a buy pack, then it will have a sellable equals to no.
Composites are sellable, buy packs aren't.
Oh, buy packs aren't, all right.
But the components in a buy pack can also be ordered from the supplier without being in a BiPAC.
As in,
But is it sellable?
Yeah.
A BiPAC component is a standard item, whether it happens to also be in a BiPAC or not.
So sometimes we even have purchase orders that have the component SKU just as a normal order line on a transfer or a purchase order, and it can also appear as part of a pack.
Then I think it's really a call from logic side, which I haven't included them in the meeting, that how they are going to be displaying this BiPAC and composite into Oracle Retail. But then we can make a call. How do we want these quantities to be extracted out of TUI?
So just to be clear, Sanjay, if you have any questions, you just ask it. So just to be clear, a BiPAC, it's on a SKU level itself, and they have the components. It's a SKU itself. It's got SKU number. It's got an item number, and the components also got an item number. And BiPAC on its own, we can sell.
No, the BiPAC itself cannot be sold.
Cannot be sold, right? It's basically quantity should always be zero.
No, it cannot be sold. It can do all other
sold,
things.
But there's quantity.
You can order it and transfer it and see. Well, I wish you couldn't, but you can adjust it. You can do all sorts of things to it. You just can't sell it.
And at the DC, they can hold stock on hand for a BiPAC.
Yeah.
There is still quantity on hand. So how he does it? So the quantity on hand get decreased by a transfer or adjustment. Am I right?
A transfer. So they can transfer a BiPAC out, and then when we receive it into the store or a non-DC, a non-distribution centre, then we explode it into the components. So a store doesn't hold stock for BiPACs, only DCs.
So the point that I was warning you about, Matt, when we talked about this, there is stock on hand of a handful of BiPACs in a handful of stores because of some bugs which have enabled that to happen over the years.
I have a quick question here. So BiPAC and composites are just opposite to each other, is it? Like BiPAC is not sellable, it's orderable and inventorized, and composite is a sellable, not orderable, and not inventorized. Is it correct?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, both the things are just opposite to each other.
Yeah.
Yes. And a composite can't be transferred or anything like that. The DCs don't know anything about composites, and stores can't transfer them. They're just for selling. Just for the POS knows the relationship.
And do you like this? The Prism just have composite items only, right? Not BiPACs, correct?
I've got no idea about Prism. Brendan may.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is only two-way. We have the top only on Prism items. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
I can't see Brendan anymore. He may have had to drop off for another meeting.
Yeah. Yep. No worries.
Then the question is open. Then how do we extract this items out with the quantities? With the parent items quantity for this, or without it as individual SKUs? Because for stock on hand, as far as data migration is concerned, we have to just populate the item number, the SKU number, which can be the parent or the child, the component level. And then against that SKU number, there will be a location from TUI, and against that location, we will be having these different quantities.
I think we need to have a session on how BiPACs are handled within Oracle from like an ongoing perspective as well.
Yeah.
This is sort of differs to TUI, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, when we send receipt data and things like that, we need to.
Yeah, I think I'll set up a call with Logic and you, Julie, and the Duco team to discuss this.
And the integration team as well. The integration team has to be involved because how they have already designed something out of this, so we have to basically be in sync with them.
Because in the transfer order SDM and the purchase order, well, in the transfer order SDM, we don't have the component structure. And I've suggested they add it to the purchase order SDM, but I haven't seen that yet. So I think we sort of need to look at BIPACs.
Yeah, but
so maybe Kylie should get involved and we organise something.
Yeah,
with both sides.
Yeah, but just to bear in mind that this is only to capture the stock quantities, nothing to do with transfer orders.
Yeah.
So it will be the stock on hand side only.
Yeah. So just talking about a stock on hand. So there are two, right? Let me recap everything. There's a BIPACs and there's a composite items. The BIPACs, we have quantity on hand at the DC level, but not at the store level.
Yeah.
And to decrease the quantity at the DC level is through transfer. So we expect there will be transfers of the items.
Yes.
And then
for the backpack, BIPAC, and we explode it when we receive it in.
So at the store level, we will still have the BIPAC SKU and the component, but the BIPAC SKU at the store level quantity on hand should be 0.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that takes care of the BIPACs. It sounds simple, but I don't think so.
No, I've been sort of, been thinking about them too from the integration point of view, and I think how it ends up being implemented probably determines how you guys migrate the data.
Has this been discussed with Logic as Logic proposed a kind of a show and tell of how they're going to map all this?
Not that I've been involved in, but I've heard just sort of at a higher level that yes, we have BIPACs.
Okay.
But we haven't really paid it enough attention in the integration layer either.
But yeah, it's a talk for us to do it. But I'll tell you what is the situation, Brenda, later. But yeah, this is this thing is absolutely untouched. It's a brand new piece to be explored in both the sides, Prism and TUI. So I don't know how it's going to work functionally in Oracle Retail, and I'm trying to build up my knowledge how it's currently working in the existing systems, and then we can decide how to do the data migration.
All right. So for composite items, the DC has got quantity, and the stores has got quantity, right? At the
composites, the DC knows nothing about them. They're just purely defined to allow the stores to make up bundles and sell them.
But the parent level, is it orderable?
No, it's only sellable.
Only sellable. Okay.
So composites will never have a in-transit quantity or a reserve quantity or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's 0, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the BIPACs.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is the parent level is sellable, but quantity on hand. Well, what about quantity on hand? Do we track the components of these composite items at a lower level?
No.
At the component level?
So we don't. TUI just maintains the definition for it, and then it goes out via the data warehouse to the point of sale. And so when the point of sale sells a composite, it explodes the sales transactions into the components, and we just get sales for the component. We don't know that it's been sold as part of a composite or not. So therefore, we never end up with any on hand or any stock movements for them. It's just purely so they can bundle things up. There might be a value that's passed in, but yeah, there should never be any on hand. I'd have to double check, but if there is, we're probably auto zeroing it, and it would never have any in transit or unavailable or anything like that.
So at parent level, everything is 0.
Yeah.
At the component level in the stores, so the sales to decrease the quantity, the movement of the quantity is at the component level for composite items.
Yes.
So at the component level, when we see a transfer or a transit, do we have to show that the parent? Do we have to say that it's actually part of the this quantity of 5 transfer is actually a part of a parent, the parent? Do we have to show that parent equals to 1 because component is 5? Do you have that kind of information?
I'd have to investigate. Composites, it won't be there, but for BiPACs, I'd have to investigate whether we show it as goods in transit. I think we might go down to that level as well, because otherwise our inquiry screens wouldn't be very useful if they couldn't see that it was coming in.
Yeah.
As part of a BiPAC.
Oh boy, it gets really complicated at the moment.
Yeah, will require another session.
Yeah, we do, and we really need logic to be in to say how they design the system.
Yeah, I think functionally we'll need logic to drive the meeting and then decide what to do for us.
Yeah, and we have to sync with the integration team when they do the SDEM because they are relying on us to provide them with information and our mapping. But at the same time, after we map, will it suit their design? There's a gap there as well.
Okay.
So are we clear? I'm not very. I'm still a little bit. See how to tie everything together. But Sanjay, do you understand where we're going with this?
See, with the discussion, I mean, like, see, the source system, I'm not sure of how we can get this inventory buckets populated because we are not capturing anything in the source side, right? So, see, until unless like there is a transfer or a purchase or a shipment done, we'll not be having this inventory buckets populated. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't really logic in there for the transactions here, but the difference between BiPAC and composite items for data migration purposes, how are we going to migrate them in terms of master items and in terms of transactions like transfer? Because MIT has to do the transfer itself. Do we ask for information where the BiPAC has got a transfer from DC to stores, right? How can
So within TUI, we have another layer of data that stores the components in the BiPACs against that transfer because it uses the template of the BiPAC at the time it was raised. So we store that at the time this transfer was raised, there was 3 of these and 4 of these. So, and same with the purchase order.
But will this system show us what the parent is? But like 1 parent equals to 5 of these, 4 of that. Will the data show us this kind of information, the hierarchical information?
Yes. So within a transfer, I'll just share a screen. Oops, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. So this is a BiPAC within TUI. This is the actual template. So the parent is at the top here, the BiPAC. So it's the 2. Typically they start with a barcode of 2. We don't see the SKUs that we send you anywhere on the TUI screens. We only see the barcode. And this one's got 5 different components, each with their own quantity ordered. So if they transfer this BiPAC from a DC, at the time that transfer was created, it copies this list of components onto that transfer. So if someone comes back in later, they can choose these quantities, but they can also choose this update PPAC down in the bottom right corner here that controls whether it rolls out to purchase orders and things, to open purchase orders, because you can purchase BiPACs. So we have this level of data stored against a transfer as well and against a purchase order. So we can go into a screen for a BiPAC and see what components are within that pack. So that's a level of data in our database that we can include for you for the data migration, which would then, so you know what's on order or in transit.
But what about, let's say in the BiPAC you have the, can we assume that information is only for a single SKU at the BiPAC level? What happens if there's five BiPAC items being transferred, and at the component level, it's showing quantity times 5?
Yeah, so if it says there's two in the component and we transfer 5, they're actually getting 10. Yeah.
Okay.
So it explodes out by the number of BiPACs times the number of components in the BiPAC.
So the information will give us a total like 10 rather than 5.
If we sent you our raw data, it would give you the 2 in one level, and in the other database or in the other file, it would have the 5 for the component. So you could multiply it out, or we add a new column and we extract and calculate it for you.
If we can, please, so that we are clear.
I have a question, Julie. Like the screen that you showed is for the BiPAC setup. Is it like can we have a look on the screen of how we create a transfer for this BiPAC? Like, can we see the fields, like what all things are there? Maybe that would be helpful.
I'll see if I can find one.
Because all the buckets, like inventory buckets, will be captured in the transfer screen, kind of. So that might be helpful.
I'll just try and find where there's some stock and transfer it out. Our test systems are a bit slow. We've got a lot of systems on the same server.
Yeah.
And it's looking in 300 different branches.
There's so many systems, there's subsystems and subsystems. How old is the system?
25 years, might be 27 now.
Oh, geez. So all these are what do you call it? Lester plus.
Yeah, that's the job.
All the band-aids.
Yeah, it's not too bad. No,
it's holding up.
It's been converted into the language Jade, which is built by our own company. So it's our own object-oriented development environment and language. So it's not built-in old software under the hood, like COBOL or anything like that. Yeah, it's got some C. Hey?
You find it's hard to find support for COBOL now?
Yeah, I did COBOL for about 2 years when I first went to Polytech. I don't think that counts. Showing my age. That's what we learned when we studied. Yeah. Oh, whoops, this isn't working so well. Okay, so we've got, I haven't got any stock anywhere for that particular one. That's a nuisance. Yeah. So if I go to a a normal transfer, I could show you the forms that so if I pick a transfer and look at the details on that, then so these are the lines that are on the transfer. And
I can't see your screen, sorry.
Oh, if I stop sharing, sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay, we can see you.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So this is a transfer from a DC to a store. Doesn't look like there's any BiPACs in there. But if we go to some other line, queue. So when we look at this screen, we're still looking at the barcode that's ordered, and we can see the quantity ordered, and then there's these columns which are empty at the moment for dispatched, received, etc. We also have another level below this. So if this was a BiPAC.
Julie, I have a question on the screen. So let's say once you dispatch, so these buckets will get populated, right?
Yes.
Or not? Right.
Yes.
So that is our in transit. Quantity dispatch is our in transit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if you can get these data, then that will be helpful for us. So
yep.
if
So this is in the file. This would be in what MIT's already got. These buckets here are in the file, the old LN file for the open transfers.
Okay, right? You understand, right? Quantity dispatch is the in transit one. Okay, so that you can use.
Yeah, that field we have it in the CSV, so we should be okay for that. It's just a matter that which item number should we populate in the CSV. Should it be the parent BiPAC item code?
No, this is a component item. This is a component that is getting dispatched.
So it will be components that's getting in CSV.
Yes, this is a component. Yes. So you will get this the pack. You will get it accordingly. So a transfer can have a pack or a component, anyways. So you'll get the transit quantity accordingly.
Not for the composite, but you could get it for the component. Were you saying component or composite? Component?
Yeah.
What I mean is, like, let's say the transfer is having a pack item and a SKU, which is not belonging to a pack. So if there's a dispatch, so it will be for the pack item one, and the second will be the SKU, different item basically. And then subsequently you can actually boil down to the component. So from the pack.
Yes.
So you're saying that on BiPAC, parent item number has got 10 quantity, and underneath of that we have 10 components. with each component having one quantity. So we are gonna, in the CSV extract, we are gonna get 11 items in total. One
No,
item with 10.
that's what I'm saying. No. See, I think it will actually capture the data as is. Right, Julie? Like in the sense, like it will be it will be only the back item that will be shown in the CSV, not the component of it.
So one item with 10 quantity.
Yes.
In the
Okay.
CSV for the
Because
Orwellian, yes.
because the transfer is built on the pack item, not on the component item.
Yeah.
We are transferring the pack item, not the component.
Okay.
But we do have what the components associated with that transfer as well. We store what the components, what the BIPAC components were and their quantity at the time of the transfer was raised. So we do have that level of detail underneath separately that we could give in a separate file, so that you could see that there was one of this component in a pack of one and two of these.
Yeah. I just remember that in Oracle Retail, we have two separate buckets, fields that we can capture the quantity for BIPAC and components separately. So if we are holding that level of information in TUI, then we can extract it out and populate those quantities separately into two fields for Oracle Retail.
Okay, so you have that extra layer below.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. But I don't know actually how that layer is linked in Oracle Retail.
No, I don't either.
No. See, it will be like this, Mit. Like as I said, if a pack is getting transferred, right? You have a pack ID in a transfer, so your pack pack in transit will get populated, okay? As well as if you have the component, you have a pack comp in transit. That is a component of the pack in transit.
Yeah.
So you can drill down there, okay? It will come from the pack ID itself. Okay, this will be like we need to derive. If we want to populate it, we need to derive from the pack ID, basically.
But that's the thing, right? Because if I share my screen quickly and give you an example in Excel, then so how it works is that this is the pack quantity. This is pack comp quantity. Okay, and this is item number. So here, so here says that, for example, this is the BIPAC item number 100, and this is the BIPAC. So here it should be 10 quantity, but there will be nothing in here because it's BIPAC item number. And for now there's another individual item not linked to BIPAC that is let's say 200. So this will be nothing, and this will be also nothing, but this is going to be again normal item SOH quantity. So here it will be, for example, 1. But now we have some components that link to this BIPAC item 100. So 1, 2, and 3. And then this here will be 0, 0, 0. But now in here, we will have like 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then how do we know that these 3 items are linked to this?
No, see, the pack comp SOH will be the pack quantity count for the item number 1 and then multiplied by 10.
Yeah.
That is the pack comp quantity. So if you have five units of item 1 in pack ID 100, then it will be 5 into 10. That is 50 is your item pack comp quantity.
That's how ours works too.
You
Okay.
got it, right, Mit?
No, I didn't get it, but I'm gonna have to talk to you later about this.
Yeah. So how do we migrate? How do we migrate this? Do we migrate it as it is, like you have a pack quantity of 10?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, see, if the transfer is having only the pack ID, then use the pack ID only.
But we don't have pack ID though. It's just item number.
Yeah, but we'll get that pack ID, right? We'll get it from TUI, like whether it is a pack ID or not.
What's the difference between the pack ID and your item ID, item code?
But even if
Yeah.
so, sorry, just a quick question. Oh, you can answer that, Brenda. Then I'll ask again. Sorry.
So that's
So-
your SKU. Item number's your SKU, isn't it?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying, right? In at the end, it depends on like what are we populating in the target template for Oracle Retail. But even if we get the pack ID from TUI, as you said, Sanjay, then that's fine. We know the relationship. But when we are populating this data into Oracle Retail templates, there is no pack ID field or any unique ID combination. So without that ID, how do we know that these three items are linked to 100 buy pack item?
Yeah, because at the moment we're not giving you the 1, 2, 3, the SKUs of 1, 2, 3 in the file. You don't know what those are.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we extract our item data and the components, that's going to be as they existed, the components as they existed at the time of the extract, which may vary to the components at the time the transfer was created, which is why we always store the component data on the transfer. So, but we haven't given that to you.
Yeah.
But we can, but then you don't know what to do with it until you know how buy packs are going to be set up in ORI.
Yeah, I think we need.
Sanjay, sorry, I just want to ask Sanjay, does ORI have some kind of a parent-child kind of a hierarchy being set up that the system knows that, hey, item number 100 has all these components, but then at the same time, these components itself is sellable and orderable.
The field itself is self-explanatory. Like the pack thing is coming, right? So I'm just checking the table. I'll explain this in a while, sometime later. Okay, I'm just checking it.
Okay.
So Julie, is there a pack ID somewhere in TUI?
Do you mean something on the item that identifies it as a buy pack?
Yeah.
So there's an inventory type of BPK.
And does it have its own unique ID on its own?
It's got its own, but it's a barcode. So I'll just find, where was my example of a buy pack? I'll just I'll share my screen in a moment once I type in all these characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the TUI item. So this is what we have stored for a buy pack. So it has its own barcode, and it has an attribute of BPK, which I think, Brenda, you sort of had, someone had told you that already. We can't load a price for it, and the cost is always just the sum of the components. So it's a product at our end. It has a supplier, how it gets ordered, but it's always has this yellow attribute here of BPK. So that's the inventory type. So the inventory type is always BPK. And then the definition is separately on this form. So we also have a PA kind flag, which is also set to Y in TUI. I think you may even have something similar. That screen. And so this is the screen that we saw before. Yeah, so when you say identifier or code, are you sort of meaning, so on our details screen, we do have a pack field identifying this under the hood. Yeah, is that what you're meaning, Brenda?
Yeah. I think so, but yeah, I need to sort of relate them to our data migration template and see how we can actually drill back up.
Yeah.
Again, we can drill down through the hierarchy, but what about drilling back up to the parent?
Yeah, so you'd be able to do that from the component file that Aaron's creating, which has got the parent-child relationships.
Yeah, because for BiPAC, it's not broken down into component level when the store receives them, are they?
Yes, we receive when we receive a BiPAC, TUI explodes it and receives in these barcodes and quantities. So yeah.
So at any one time, we won't know whether these BiPACs, these items, how many of them are actually in a BiPAC.
Yes.
We won't know, right?
Yes.
Do we need to track that?
Yeah. So we will know. We know for a particular transfer order exactly how many components are in this particular one, and we know how many have just been dispatched by multiplying out the quantity dispatched times the component. And similarly, when we receive in, if we receive in 2 BiPACs,
but because the stores are the stores doesn't see the BiPAC. They only see the components.
No, they see the BiPAC. I think a lot of time they're physically in a box. So I've never been to the store to watch them scan in a BiPAC, but when they receive in goods, they receive in the BiPAC until he explodes it. And
so when they receive it, when they receive it, in our store transfer, will the transfer transaction shows the BiPAC as one or all the components?
All the components. When we look at the store stock movements, it shows all the components.
But not the parent itself.
No, because the parent isn't held in stock on hand at the store.
So if we have so because the component is silver on its own and orderable on its own. So if let's say for this instance, the line item 144140, our transfer has got a quantity of 6. So how do we say that part of this 6 is actually part of the bundle? Do we need that kind of information? Do you store this kind of information?
I mean, we would know that there's 6 of them. but the stores only say how many buy packs they've received.
So
And we assume it's got 6 of them. And we receive 6 into stock on hand.
So you receive 6, and so when the store receives them, they will also see the transshipment record will also show that at the buy pack SKU level, it's transfer out 1, and then in the same file, we will also see the components as first item is 1, second item is 2, third item is 2, and 1 and 2. Is that correct? So we actually, in that transfer, we will have 2 information. One information is at the buy pack SKU level, the other information is at component SKU level. So somehow we have to relate that when they receive it, the buy pack is actually not received, but the components get received. So
Yes.
when so at ORI level, we cannot say that the buy pack will have a quantity of 0, but the components will have quantity, the actual quantity. So when we do a data migration, we have to show the buy pack level and also the level.
So we have, in the stock movements, like the transfer out in the DC, we show the buy pack quantity going out, because that's the level we store it at in the DC. But when it comes into the store, there's no stock movement for the buy pack, but we have all the details stored on the transfer, so we know what that relationship is and what quantity of buy packs the store said they received, and that's what we've used to generate the actual stock movement transactions. So I suppose, like when you look at the transfer, you can see quantity 1 received for 1 buy pack, but you can't look at the stock movement history and see that 1 coming into the store. You can only see it going out of the DC.
Well, I think we will have to wait and see what we get in next week.
Yeah.
And I think we really need logic on this one, how they design their system.
Yeah.
So from a data migration point of view, did they sort of mention anything about buy packs? I mean, obviously you've discovered that they're not in MDM, so you didn't get them in their files. Yeah.
I think now do we have enough information to sort of digest when the file comes around and then present it to logic?
I'll raise it with Kylie and Brendan. I think.
I think we're just going to be the facilitators, but the meeting will have to be driven by logic from functional point of view and explain us how buy pack item actually works in Oracle Retail. And based on that, we can decide how we want to extract these buy packs out of TUI. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
And also, don't forget to include the SDEM, the integrators, the integration team.
I don't know the people, but I'll get back to you on that separately.
Okay.
To get the list of people.
I actually don't know who is in SDEM. Julie, can you give us a name? Who is involved?
There's multiple people, unless you just go for Mike Enderby, who's in charge of data migration.
All right.
And then he could involve others.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, so I'll try to set up a call tomorrow if based on everyone's availability, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brendan's on leave tomorrow, but I mean, he said he wasn't sure anyway. So, yeah. But I'm just thinking from the business point of view.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Kylie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And logic.
Yes, yeah. Definitely logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks, Julie. Bye.
Bye.